Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living, Tampa Bay. I'm Reverend Laine Morgan, and I am so blessed to serve as the senior minister of this community, and I'm so blessed to welcome all of you to our final service of 2023. And today's a special service, so the entire normal order that you are used to, we're going to have to let it go and let it be a new experience today. So as you get settled for this unique service, I want to welcome first-time visitors. I know there are several in the room, and there may be some online too. I want to welcome the online viewers who join us from afar. If you're new to either of those experiences, buckle your seatbelt and please plan to come back another Sunday, because today will be very, very different. We do have blue cards in your program. If you want to fill those out, we will send you home with a Signs of Mind magazine, and just see anyone with a colorful lanyard if you have questions about the center or about the service, because they are ambassadors for Center for Spiritual Living Tampa Bay. So I hope you find great meaning in the service today. I do want to let you know that the music that you will hear throughout today's service is by a musician named Gary Lynn Floyd. And we do have songs of his that come up in our service. This is Gary. And this is piano music from his album Speechless. So if you love the music today, and I hope you do because I love it very much, get his album wherever you get your music, because it's really awesome. Not only his instrumental music, but his New Thought positive music is also pretty amazing. So our theme today is release and peace. And the table before you is prepared for our service. The bowl is full of water, and water symbolizes purity and cleanliness. It's perfect for dissolving everything that we choose to release today. And the candle is lit for peace, release, and peace. Our practitioner this morning is Brittany Christ, and she will be providing a reading in just a minute. But first, I want to go through a few quick announcements to get all of the kind of important information to you before we get started with our whole process. So today is our final Sunday of the Magic Touch fundraiser, and as you can see, our tree of belonging is covered. It's covered with 53 purple ornaments. And as I put on Facebook, if you're not on Facebook, y'all bought us out of purple. And I would have a cent rushing around trying to figure out where can I get more purple ornaments. Impossible. So instead I went with rainbow, which is so perfect for inclusivity. I talked about that last week. And there are 53 ornaments, meaning that throughout the month of December, we've received over 5,300 in special giving. So thank you so much. If you haven't yet participated, you are invited to close out your year today with a generous donation to our spiritual home. That would be lovely. We're deep in gratitude for everyone in this community that supports each other and this center with your gifts. Thank you so much. 2023 comes to a magical close today. So next Sunday, as we release this year, we move into the new year, and next year has a new theme. It has new programs. There's a new order of service. There's going to be a lot new next year, lots of new things. And we invite you to step into this next chapter by participating in our white stone ritual next Sunday. So the white stone ritual is where we intuit or do a meditation and we get our word for the year, whether it's the word that we want to anchor in, it's our intention for the year. There are lots of ways to interpret the white stone ceremony, but we will be going through that next Sunday. And registration is open for the January class. It's a short 3-week class on living this philosophy. You can take one class, all 3 classes. The registration form will tell you how to do that. So let's get started with our celebration today. Everyone needs 3 things actually. Everyone needs a little piece of paper, and these are dissolving papers, so I'm gonna pass these around. Rebecca has a whole bunch to start from the back. You need one of these and a pen, and you also need a bigger piece of paper that Rebecca has as well. So there's a bigger half sheet, these small ones, and a pen. So now I'm going to invite Brittany to come up and give her reading and her prayer for the day, and we will start our service. Thank you for being here this morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So today's reading is called A Sacred Bow, An Intentional Way to Close Out the Year. And it's written by Leo Babauta, and he is from Zen Habits. He has a podcast and a blog. And this is what he has to say. The last month of the year can be a crazy, shopping-filled party spree of a month, or it can be a simpler, more mindful period of closing out the year and getting ready for the coming year. I'd like to invite you to a process that I'm calling a sacred bow. It involves taking the time to reflect on where you are currently, making a conscious choice of what to release in your life, and finally setting an intention for the coming year. You might be wondering why. Why is that important? So many of us neglect the act of looking back, that we just continually get caught up in the minutia of our daily lives, in the busyness of projects and events, in the drama of unfolding family affairs. We don't take stock. We don't think about where we've been and use that experience to continue to grow. This is a more mindful, conscious process that sets aside time for reflection, and that's a worthwhile way to spend our time. Letting go is something very few of us do with intention, and the result is that we continue to carry forward baggage and pain and patterns that no longer serve us, that are just getting in the way. Let's let those float away into the atmosphere so that we can be free to move into a new space without holding on to everything that came before. And lastly, it's about setting intentions, not resolutions, for the coming year. Our intentions are more focused on meaning and purpose than on some fixed outcome. And that has the power to change things. Would you join me in prayer? How good it is to be together on this last day of the year. And what I know is that there is a power and presence back of all. I call it God, I call it Spirit, I call it the divine. God is love, joy, inspiration, community. And God is release. God is intuition and supply, and a deep and abiding peace. God is and I am. I know that I am unified with the God of the universe, that all of God's qualities are within me. I am peace. I am community. And as I know this for myself, I know this for each one here today. I know that our time is divinely orchestrated by Spirit, that each one who is here is meant to be here. And so I affirm that there is safety in this space, love in this space, a witnessing. There is a beautiful unfolding of all of the things that are meant to occur. And so I speak a word of intuition and discernment as each one decides what to intentionally release. And I am so deeply grateful for each person who makes our service possible, and for each person who made the conscious choice to call this their home. And so from this place of gratitude, I'm able to joyously release my word, release this prayer into the law. And together we affirm, and so it is.
Thank you, Brittany, for the beautiful reminder of what we're doing here today. So today continues a very special time in the calendar year. Today's a threshold day, a day that sits right before a new beginning. You may have been feeling this threshold, this in-between feeling throughout this week between the holidays and New Year's. We kind of feel a little bit in limbo. I don't know if you feel that or not. But threshold moments in our lives are very, very important for intention setting, like Brittany's reading pointed out. It's wise to stop before entering a new situation and make sure that everything that you're carrying into this new chapter are things that you really want to take with you into the new space. things you want to continue, that are serving you well. Let's make sure everything in our suitcase are things we want to take with us, right? And we all want more good in the year to come, don't we? If you've been thinking about 2024, you're naturally thinking, well, I'd like for this to be a little better. I'd like for this to be a little sweeter. I'd like for this to be stronger. I'd like for my body experience to be different. Everything is more good. We want more good. So the first thing we have to do to accept more good is to make room for it. It makes so much sense, right? If you want a new wardrobe, you got to make some space in your closet for it. You know, if you want something new, you've got to have that mindset that there is a vacuum to fill. There's a vacuum to fill. I've let go of something, so there's room for more. Similarly, when we want to do spiritual, emotional, and mental releasing, why? So that we can have new spiritual beliefs, new mental habits, new physical and spiritual and mental processes in our lives. We want to release some things so that we can move on. And holding on to anything that doesn't serve you sets up a block in your consciousness, a block in your energy field. Holding on to things that are kind of out of sync with your current level of thinking blocks you from being open to the guidance you're ready to receive now. And I know a lot of you have spent some time in 2023 learning new things, growing, exploring things. We did a whole lot of work with our souls over the summer. Y'all are ready for some new, bigger ideas. But if we're holding on to old things, it blocks that intuition from coming in. Life is a flow. Life is a flow. So if we want to receive more good flowing into our lives, we've got to have energy flowing out. Things that don't flow are stuck. And we know things that do not flow become sick. Water stagnates. Muscles atrophy. We can become constipated. Physically, emotionally, spiritually, we can become constipated. And releasing is the way to move forward into something new, into greater health, into greater wholeness, into a brighter light. So I want to invite you to think about what you might want to release now before you cross over into this new year tonight. So you might want to get out that bigger piece of paper and your pen. So I'm going to be talking about some things that you might want to release. And when something sparks your attention, that's when you want to jot a note down. Trust your inner guidance. And later you can capture single words or symbols or whatever for the ceremony. This is just your overall general idea. And let me also say this. I may suggest some things that you want to release that you don't think you're quite ready to let go of. Okay? You may be resistant to letting go of some of the things right here, right now, today. It's okay. When you write them down anyway, if you ever want to let go of the thing that I'm talking about, write it down. Write it down as an intention that someday you will let this go. Because Spirit's not attached to the when that you grow, the when that you let something go. What it listens to, what it responds to is your intention. And new situations may show up to make that intention a reality for you down the road. So let's begin. The first area to look for things to release is in your beliefs about yourself. Think about it. Is it time to let go of ideas that you should somehow be different to be worthy? Do you have ideas about yourself or about life that are limiting you? Have you ever thought, I can't do it, that you don't have what it takes? You're too old, you're too young, you're not educated enough, you know too much, you're too big, you're too little, you're the wrong color, the wrong gender. Release any thoughts you hold that anchor you in self-doubt or unworthiness. Whatever beliefs you've bought into that do not support your growth and unfoldment as a spiritual, vital child of God, Whatever you've thought of yourself that isn't loving, nurturing, or kind, it is simply not true. God knows the truth about you. Spirit did not screw up when it made you, when it came to life inside of your magic suit. Those limiting ideas and beliefs have no validity. I know this is true, so let's release them. Another place to look for things to release is your thoughts about the past. Let's release any regrets you may be holding. Maybe you have a memory that floods over you with regret every time you think of it. Here's the deal. You cannot go back and change one thing about the past. So holding on to the idea that something should have or could have been different only blocks you today. Maybe let that memory and regret go as it no longer serves you. Think about this. Are there names of people who hurt your heart when you think of them? Or when other people say their names to you, you have that snag inside. It hurts deep inside. What if you let go of that hurt or that wound, whether it occurred last week, last year, or long, long ago? Anything that keeps your energy anchored in the past or anchored with another person, release that person to God and know only the highest and best for them wherever they may be in their life. Because keeping them tucked in your energy field simply does not serve you. Forgive yourself, forgive them, release grudges and prejudices and bitterness, and because forgiveness can dissolve anything, whatever that stands between you and your good. Forgiveness cleanses the mind and the body and relationships, and it opens the way for your dreams to come to you. Unforgiveness is like taking poison and waiting for the other person to die. Instead of clutching those things or people to you, let them go in the divine flow of life. And when you feel yourself stuck on something or someone, say, I lovingly release you into the hands of Spirit, knowing that infinite intelligence shall guide us both. That's what you're praying when you're releasing someone. Infinite Spirit, I release them to you. And knowing that intelligence will guide us both into peace and prosperity, into new beginnings and joy. Even if you don't mean it, speak your prayer. And just keep affirming the goodness and blessings and perfect right action for yourself and everyone concerned. Write them down. Release and be free. Maybe there are experiences you had that caused shame to flood over you. Let go of any failure in your life. If you could, if this is the year to let it go today. Maybe it was a job. Maybe it was a relationship. Maybe it was a choice you made that didn't work out the way you thought it was going to. Release that. You did the best you could at that moment. It's time to move on and accept that there are lessons, and those lessons have been completed. If you're not in it anymore, you're not in it anymore. Perhaps you learned everything you could learn in that situation with that person, that thing, and you needed to let it go. And now is the time to let go of the idea that it was a failure. Nothing's a failure. It just no longer fits you on some level. Let them go. And let's let go of all the shoulds and the ought tos that we hold on to. I should be married by now. I should be more successful. I should be living in a different situation. My house, my car, my family, my life, whatever, they should look different than they do. All of those shoulds make you love yourself a little bit less. So let's let them go. Maybe it's time to release any attachment you have to needing to be right. So often the need to be right creates a wedge within relationships. They block love from flowing. Let go and allow other people to live differently than you do. Solve problems differently than you do. Love differently. Think differently. Let go. Maybe there's a story you've been telling yourself that is simply not true. Could something be seen in a different way? And perhaps a rigid or negative way of telling the story could be let go of? Could greater truth exist in the situation? Could greater compassion enter the telling of the story? If you have stories like that, jot them down, release them, let them go, and then refuse to tell them anymore. Maybe it's time to let go of something that's simply not going to happen in this lifetime. Do you have dreams or goals that you've not reached and you're not likely to reach in this lifetime? So often we use those to beat ourselves up. When deep in our heart, we know we're never going to do it, but it just lets us measure ourselves as insufficient. Maybe it's a goal you've held for so long, and you use it as a measuring stick for your life, and it's not even realistic anymore. Surrender it to Spirit. Trust that if it is for you, then the situations will present themselves so that it can be happening, but let them go. No longer sit and hold onto the idea that you didn't become this or that and just say, not in this lifetime. What about fear? Is there a fear that you have outgrown, that you keep out of habit? You're known for this fear, so you don't want to let it go, right? Is there a fear that's keeping you from doing something you really, really, really want to do? Maybe this is the time to let it go. And again, if you can't let go in this moment, set it as an intention and give yourself time to find the help you need in the new year to let that fear go. Maybe there's a habit that you're ready to release. There's something you know in your heart that's not good for you and you keep doing it. Is there a pattern that's habitually holding you in place, blocking you from growing or healing or transforming? Maybe write those down. And ask yourself, what blocks my peace of mind? What keeps me up at night? What arises in my thoughts that evokes fear or anxiety, keeping me from feeling peace? You know, in a few moments, we're going to be praying for peace. We're going to have a meditation about world peace. So perhaps there are thoughts about other people, other countries, or ideas, or anything that keeps your heart from feeling in peace with other people. Before we can know peace for the world, we must know peace within ourselves. So anything that's preventing you from having a peaceful heart, bring that to mind. Could you let it go? Could you write it on your piece of paper? Those are the kinds of things that you want to write on your releasing paper. You're writing them down either to let them go right now or to set an intention for letting them go, asking Spirit to guide you to a path of release. So those are my ideas about what to release. And you may have other things in your heart and mind that you knew coming in today you were going to release them. And I'm asked for the music to come up just a little bit, to give you a few minutes to think about everything I've said and to write on your big piece of paper and just capture what it is you would like to release before you cross this threshold tonight. So I'll give you some time. And you can take this time to work on transferring words to your dissolving paper. You can write single words, you can draw pictures, you can write whatever. And this is a private piece of paper between you and Spirit. No one will see it, and it will be dissolved as you release it here in the bowl. So put your deepest intentions on them. And again, the music will continue to play as you have some time to write. And when you're feeling complete, simply close your eyes and sit quietly. I'll be able to gauge when we're ready to move on. And if you're watching online, just make your list on any piece of paper. What shall I release? What shall I let go of? And again, when you're finished, just sit with your eyes closed. So almost everyone is finished with their writing, so I invite you to go deep within. As you breathe deeply in a relaxing way, I want you to think for a moment about how you will feel when the things on your paper are gone from your life. Think how still your thoughts and your mind would be if all of that worrying and fear and regret and shame and anger were simply no longer there. Know for yourself that you would have peace in your life if those things were gone, and peace is your birthright. Anything that blocks peace is not of spirit. So I invite you to pray with me and take these words as your own. What I know right here and right now is the sweet spirit is in this place, in this moment. And as I know God in every place, in every moment, I know it is here. I know the power of God meets us in this moment of high intention as the power that resides in my heart, the power that breathes my body, the source of all life is my source too. And I know that this is the truth. This is the time to let go of any untruth about me and my life. I know that there is relief in letting go. I know good things fill the vacuum left behind by anything that I release here today. I call this moment of release for this community a highly conscious moment. As I dissolve my paper containing my words and symbols in this ceremony, I am met with the power of the universe. As I release, Spirit meets me in my resolve. Everything I intend to melt away in my experience melts away by the power of my decision. The peace that I am seeking is my birthright, and in this ritual I claim it for myself. I am blessed in every way, and as my new year begins, I feel refreshed and empowered. I am overflowing with gratitude for this opportunity to let go. I am grateful for everyone who makes this possible, for everyone who's here this morning in community, and for those watching online who are ready to let go and have a new experience in life. And with gratitude, I let go and say, and so it is.
So it is.
So now I am going to invite you to come forward whenever you are ready and take turns. So if you're online, I invite you to tear up your little pieces of paper and burn them, whatever you want to do. And those of you in the room can come forward and dissolve your paper. And as you release these old ideas, as you watch them swirl away in the water, I want you to feel that you are literally letting them go. When you see the melting of your paper, pause for just a moment and be with that feeling of release. And when you return to your seat, I want you to go back into your private meditation space where we'll go directly into the World Peace Meditation after this ceremony. So I'm going to ask the practitioners to come up and go first. And then I'm going to invite them to stand in consciousness around this community that they love so very much and hold this consciousness of newness and release for you as a spiritual family. we are complete with the ceremony, so let us transition into a meditation for world peace by centering ourselves in the peacefulness in our own hearts in this moment. As we have released anything unpeaceful in our lives, we feel peace. We are peace. Just breathe that in. Peace. Become aware of the peace that you feel in this room around you. The gentle rise and fall of each breath is centered in peace. And this entire space is full of peace. Feel that radiance of peace all around you here at the center or in your own space. This inner peace extends to envelop this entire building. The sanctuary spills peace into the fellowship hall, into the room where our children move and breathe, out to the parking lot where our cars sit in peace. In your mind's eye, see that peace extending. See that essence of peace enveloping the streets and avenues of our beautiful city, settling into every home along the way. See it holding your own home in its embrace, knowing that your home is a place of peace. Know that anyone who you share this home with feels this peace right now. And as the peace flows further, it embraces your entire neighborhood, flooding everyone with a sense of calm and peace in this moment. See that in your mind's eye. And see the peace embracing the places that you go. Your place of work, your place of play. Wherever you go, know that the peace extends there. And now let us extend this inner peace to the entire state, reaching every heart, every town, every city and county, every forest, every beach. Peace is our state of being. And the light of peace does not stop there. It continues outward, shining into every township, every natural space, every highway and byway in this beautiful country of ours. There is no place where God is not. Therefore, the peace of God is everywhere in America, right here and right now. See that peace stretched across our country. Know peace for every place in this country that you love, every place you've ever been, every place you ever think about going. Peace is there. Peace is everywhere. Peace knows no boundaries, so it extends beyond any human-made borders to other countries. It embraces every sentient being on the planet. It holds every ocean, every mountain, every river, every valley in the world. There is no village or city or metropolis left outside of this peace. There is no place where war is happening that is not grounded in peace. Know that with me. Peace is there too. We breathe peace for every human being, for every animal, for everything. We breathe peace for every world leader, for every decision maker, for every father, for every mother, for every family. Peace, peace, peace. We know peace for every immigrant. We know peace for every refugee. We know peace for everyone. And now in your mind's eye, see this peace radiating out from Mother Earth to the very atmosphere we exist in. It floods the moon and sun and the stars and the galaxies beyond our awareness. Peace simply is. Breathe in that peace, that world peace, that universal peace. It is the truth of God. It is the truth of life. Peace. Just exist in this peace. Breathe in this peace, in this moment, in the final hours of this year, in the year to come, forever and ever. Peace. And know that this place of peace is within you. You can come back to it any time. It is always there, awaiting your recognition, awaiting your alignment to it, your consciousness of it. This peace is your birthright. It's in every cell of your body. It's in every place you go. Peace. Peace is forever. Amen. And so it is. So I want to thank you for having your consciousness to hold peace for the world. Each one of you is a light. Each one of you is a God being. Each one of you is a source of love. And I'm going to close the service today with a poem from my favorite contemporary poet, John Rodell, and perhaps these words will bless you today in this current world. And he writes, I can't make the world peaceful. I can't stall tanks from roaring down roads. I can't prevent children from having to hide in bunkers. I can't convince the news to stop turning war into a video game. I can't silence the sound of bombs tearing neighborhoods apart. I can't turn a guided missile into a bouquet of flowers. I can't make a warmonger have an ounce of empathy. I can't convince ambassadors to quit playing truth or dare. I can't deflect a sniper's bullet from turning a wife into a widow. I can't stave off a country being reduced to ash and rubble. I can't do any of that. The only thing I can do is love the next person I encounter without any conditions or strings. To love my neighbor so fearlessly that it starts a ripple that stretches from one horizon to the next. I can't force peace on the world, but I can become a force of peace in the world. Because sometimes all it takes is a single lit candle in the darkness to start a movement. Lord, make me a candle of comfort in this world. Let me burn with peace. John Rodell. Let us all be a candle for world peace. So we are complete here this morning, and thank you for your gifts of generosity as you leave peacefully. I invite you to love each other and yourselves in the silence until you reach the fellowship hall or outside, in case there are those among us who want to stay in this peace for a little while longer. So bless you. Thank you for 2023. It was a magnificent, magical year. I love you all. I'm not going to cry, and peace be with you. I will see you next Sunday. Happy New Year.